Hello and welcome to a first video, a new series. I'm your host SebCentury, and today we'll be going through how to play Arma Reforger on whatever, PC, console, Xbox, PlayStation, so on, whatever. This game has recently come out on PS5, and that's where I was introduced with the game. I have had this game for over a week, or maybe 2 weeks, and I've spent about, as of this recording, about 46 hours. So what I would recommend when you first start playing this game is you do the tutorial first. I have seen a rookie error of people jumping straight into a server, all guns blazing, and they end up dying instantly. I would say that the best experience of this game, or my experience of this game with players and help and support, is that you find a group of people that have different approaches and skill sets, and something where you can go, right, this person's good at being sort of a sniper, or someone's good at navigating, or someone's good at carrying supplies and being a medic and all that kind of stuff. You want to find people that have a certain play style. It will benefit your group overall. So, like I say, do the tutorial. The tutorial is all covering of like movement and loading your weapon and all that kind of stuff. It tells you briefly about navigation, because this game is based in the 1980s and there is no GPS. There's none of that. It's all map, compass, protractor, everything manual. So you've got to be pretty good with your navigation. If you're not, you're going to struggle. Just look into it. I would totally recommend the tutorial, but the tutorial doesn't explain absolutely everything about the game. So this is where this video comes in. So when you find a server that you want to play and you select that server, you will be presented with a map. Now, this isn't a good example because I'm in a game master session. So I've laid out an area that will benefit for recording purposes. So at the moment, I'm here. Okay. Now, on the map, you will see many different like blue rectangles. Those blue rectangles symbolize your base or captured bases. You want to be mindful of where to spawn. I would, as a new player, spawn at main base if it's not close to any enemy territory, and you know that there's people there that you can communicate with. Communication is key, and you can always ask help in chat. You're not forced to communicate in-game, but it is recommended because you'll have a much better experience in learning and playing the game. So once you find your base, you will then obviously spawn in. Now, the first thing that I go for in a base when I first start out is my loadout and my inventory. And I will showcase what I use and my style. And what I would firstly do is, when you find an ammunition supply point, which isn't just ammunition, it's also different stuff you can have. It's clothing, anything, okay, that you need to carry. So I see a lot of people go to the ammunition and weapons arsenal first. I would go to the sort of clothing and medical first. Now, the reason is because when you load your, when you open your inventory up, which is quite like DayZ, if you have played it, it might be quite familiar to you. You will have your sort of supply unit here of what you can take, and here you can put over to your inventory. So the first thing I would do is find a backpack. So I would go for me, I normally go for this medical backpack because it's pretty good for space still. If I unequip it, go for something quite bigger, you still got sort of the main same amount of space. However, your backpack is quite heavy. You want to be mindful of what you put in your inventory, because if you put too much stuff in, it will weigh you down a lot. So this medical backpack is very light, so I can like fill it quite a bit without having any sacrifice in movement. So I would go for a few bandages, so on. These are all four of these are your sort of medical stuff. If you are injured, it does tell you at the bottom beneath the boots of your character, and you just equip those and use them, and it tells you where you've been injured on your body. So you can select those and heal yourself. You also have a medical kit. Again, it's down to if you want to use that and you want to use that towards your team. It's up to you. Here are all your different clothing items. At the minute, I've got this hat on. You don't spawn with this camouflaged hat. I've put this on before the recording. I quite like using that. You've got like stuff for like pilot. You can dress yourself to be more like a pilot, navigator, co-pilot in a chopper. And once you've sorted everything in there, I mean, I'll just go back into this. If you ever do lose your compass and map and your radio, you can find them here. Yeah. Or your shovel. Your shovel, if you've done the tutorial, it'll tell you how you build your base. It's used as a tool to build these facilities. When you first spawn into the game, you won't have all these facilities up for grab. So you will need to use your supply, I don't know what they're called, like supply points or whatever, to build these resources. Now, weapons. I'm in the US sort of forces, US forces, and by default you spawn with an M16. So there's different variations of an M16. These variations are just like if they've got camo or they've got a grenade launcher. So for this one, I'm going to pick one with a grenade launcher. And I also go for a sniper, so the M21 sniper. Okay. There's two variants here, one with a scope, one without. I don't recall there being one for a scope in sessions, but I might be wrong. But anyway, once you've selected your weapons, then you start picking your ammunition. To find what ammunition you want for your M16, it says in the white text underneath, a 5.56 by 45mm assault rifle. So that would be these ones here. So you click on those. You've also got variations of magazines. So you've got tracer bullets here, which will show you where the direction of fire is towards an enemy, which will help your team to find, or it'll help you to see if your bullets are landing in the right places. Very useful mag. I do use them occasionally. I tend to just go for the standard mag, but it's up to you. With the M16, you look for your attachments. So I normally go for a red dot sight that will appear here or anywhere in your inventory. Your Mark III suppressor, you've also got camos for those as well, and a 7.62-51 from a sniper. You can get tracer mags for these as well, and a Arc 2 scope for my sniper. There are flares. I'm not sure what all the colours mean. I don't know if green means there's friendlies across from us So watch out for those. And red means there's enemies. I don't know. But I tend to go for white flares for when it gets really dark. If you're a console player, as I am, you can't see anything. The only way that you can find enemies is, for me, is to use the flares or to guess where trace of bullets are coming from. But I tend to stick with some flares. The flares are important and used by your grenade launcher here. That's why I always have one in case. And once I've got those on, it's all down to setting up your weapons. So if I go back into first person and hold R to inspect. Now, to inspect anything that you hold, you just need to, you can either look down and press, I'm not sure what it is on console, but you can find it in the menu. But if you hold, it'll open this into like, I don't know what you call it, but this is like spectating your weapon or whatever. And then you just point and hover over where you want to attach your scope. That'll update there. Remove the flash hider on there, and then you can attach your Mark III suppressor. When it comes to the tracer mags, that can be switched here to change. I'll just reload. And then for the second weapon, your sniper, then you can apply that there. To use your grenade launcher and flares, you can hold the button or look at the controls, what button it is to activate it. Once you are in grenade launcher mode, if you press R or whatever button it is, press F to load, that will change that into your flare. Once you are happy with your loadout, you can go to the supply arsenal here, scroll down and then hold the button to save. So whenever you spawn, when you die and respawn into a base, you will have this loadout with the attachments, everything is back to the way it is. However, it also depends on when you do spawn back at base, if it's got enough supplies that you request to use for your loadout. So like if you spawn at a base that has 0 supplies, you will not spawn with all of this that you've got. So you've got to be mindful when you think, oh, well, where's my loadout that I've saved? You might have spawned at a base that doesn't have the supplies required for you to have your loadout back. So you got to be mindful of that as well. To find out if the base has got like supplies, if you go to your mini-map, and let's say this is our base here, and you hover over it, it will tell you what utilities it has, like for example, vehicle access and medical equipment, but it will also see how many supplies. So it might say 500 out of 1,500 supplies, or it might say 1,500 out of 2,000 supplies, or whatever it is. But if it says 0 or like 50 supplies out of 1,500 or 11,500, you probably won't get your stuff back. So you just keep that in mind. So once you have everything ready in your inventory, then it's all planning on like, what's your objective? Do you want to do supply runs? Do you want to push in and take over a base? Or, you know, you got to think like what your intentions are, what are you going to do for the team. So if you know that there's a base nearby, like for example, if you know there's a base down here, I might as well walk it down here and be stealth and sneak up because a vehicle might be too loud and the enemy can hear, or there might be some mines in a road or something. So I'm going to avoid that and walk down. Or there might be a person with a chopper on the hand, and you'll just take that. Or you can spawn a vehicle. Now, vehicles, there's a lot of different. It may seem there's a lot of vehicles in the game, but it's almost like a copy and paste job, like your weapons. Sometimes you think there's more like vehicles than there actually is, because some vehicles are just like like you can see there's camo versions of the same thing. So you've got like your Jeeps, which are really inexpensive. You've got Jeeps with like roofs on them, things like that. They might be beneficial towards people long range and they can't get a good clear visual of your head and get a headshot mid driving. You've got vehicles over. There was vehicles here. I neatly put vehicles here and they've all fell down at the back. Oh well, okay. Well, they're very well camo. They blend in with nature. Yes, these are all Humvees, and these are slightly more expensive, but I'd say they're more popular over the Jeeps. You can see that Humvees are quite good because you can put a few supplies in them, as for these ones here. So you can do small supply runs with these. They're a little bit better off-roading, I think, but there's just different variations. So you've got ones with roofs, one camo, so on, so on and so on. These are your fuel trucks, and you can park your vehicle next to these and refuel. So you might have some people that are just ferrying fuel around other bases or whatever it is, or you'll have people that are just purely doing that as a responsibility. This all the way down here, which should be up there, is a camo version. I thought that was a medical one. I think they're down here. Yes, I believe this is a medical truck. What is this? Is this the medical truck? Can't remember if this. I'm stuck. Yeah, this didn't go to plan. I don't think that is my medical truck. They've just disappeared. Oh, they're all the way down here. That's why. Okay, let's go down here. We'll go on a bit of a trip. Okay. So yeah, these will have all your medical supplies. I don't really ever see people using these. It's a shame, really, because I wish there was. I think in future I may do this as just part of a role, because I don't really see many people using these. These here are the transport trucks for people and cargo, supplies. They're just different variations. Now, like I said, these will have different values of supply points, which are very important, as you want to be mindful of and be resourceful of what you're going to be taking, and you know that you're going to be using. Some of the vehicles are locked behind ranks, so you're going to be mindful of that as well. Helicopters, I believe you need to be corporal to spawn one in. So be mindful of that if you want to. And they're not the easiest thing to fly as well, unless I think it's not too bad on a controller. So before you decide to take any transportation, before you use any of the resources to spawn a vehicle in, which for that is one of these transport depots here. You can see this is a heavy vehicle. A heavy vehicle depot will look like what I'm at now. So you've got like your request vehicle area here. You also have another area here, and there's another like space here, like a tent thing with supplies. The supplies are filled in to spawn another vehicle in. You'll have this dirt T-junction here, and this is all the space for this heavy depot. Now, heavy vehicles are things like your transport trucks, fuel trucks, medical stuff, maybe not your medical stuff, repair vehicles, and so on. So if you're doing supply runs, if you've got if you're ferrying a group of 10 people and they all need to get somewhere, this is the vehicle you want. And you can see I can't really spawn this anywhere. For what reason? I'm not so sure. Outside the build area. But it should appear as white. Anyway, go back to character. So that's the heavy depot. This is light vehicles. So these are where your Jeeps and Humvees will spawn. There we go. I'll put one down there. Now, again, this will use supplies. I think a Humvee is like 150 supplies to 200. You can spawn one in there, and that's your light depot. Also, check how much fuel you've got. If you're going to go quite far traveling, make sure that you have plenty of fuel ready. You can find this on the dashboard directly, but it's a bit hard to see, so I go in third person. Third person presents your speedometer and your fuel gauge. So if you do need to fuel up, start your vehicle. And then you're looking for that plonk tick next to a dirt road here, which I find is convenient for something like this. You've got your fuel station, and you've got to be quite close to these for them to register. Bring your vehicle up. I'd say that would be fine. Okay. Be mindful where the fuel cap is, and then you just hold F, and that refuels. Once you get a few people in, you're all ready to go. Now you need a heading. For that, you need to navigate. Now, if you haven't done the tutorial, this might come in handy now. So let's make a scenario here. So this is where main base is, this lighthouse. Let's say we go to let's say this lighthouse here. Let's go right across from here. Okay. And then we'll do one from Timber Ridge here. So first of all is we would get our compass. You know, you can do this on console. You can drag these wherever you want. You can see here where our direction is. So we want to go from that lighthouse to this lighthouse. Next, we use our pencil tool, and then we can draw a line from the lighthouse to this one. And then you get your protractor, you want the center the central point of your protractor to be where the base is, and the base is here. Okay. So your red marker is now cutting through your protractor, and it's telling us where central base is. It's telling us that it is southwest at 235. 235 southwest. So if we get our compass and you hold and click, there might be shortcuts. Be mindful at the bottom corners of the screen, it gives you tooltips. So you can line it up. What did we say? 230? That direction. And then you just follow that direction. And you'll, what I would recommend is you get a person with a compass on ready to help you navigate. Until it gets to the point where you'll start to recognize the map without using any tools for navigation. You won't need your protractor or compass for the most part, but at times you'll always need your compass to identify enemy location. You'll always need it for that. So then you'll go, right, I need to go in this direction, and then you go in that direction, and then you're there. Just do another example. So if you want to clear, you can click on the items again, unhighlight them, click on the X, and it'll get rid of the pencil drawing. So we'll do another one from here. Sorry, not there, sorry. Up here to there, Timbers Ridge. Okay. And then get your compass ready again, get your protractor, and you want to go at west 275 to 280, which is then up that direction, up there. Now, a Soviet compass, if you do spawn on the Soviet side, you will have a slightly different compass. It doesn't really have it in bold of where north, east, south, and west. It's displayed in symbols. You will get used to it, but just be mindful that when you do spawn on the enemy team, your compass is different. It's not that different, but it is just a little bit different. So that's your navigation. And then you're ready. You're all set, ready to go. So that's basic navigation. If you ever do get lost, always revert to your map. Declutter it if you need to. And just have an awareness of your surroundings. So, you've got a lighthouse, you've got a church here, you've got a town, you've got a main road, you've got loads of dirt roads and things like that. Look for ponds, anything that you find, keep note of. It'll give you a better understanding of where you are. And if you are lost, the last thing you want to be doing is going towards an enemy base where there's only a few of you and you really need help. You don't have any medical supplies. Just be mindful of where you are at all times. And if it's safe to do so, you can request an emergency pickup. Best way to do that is through your comms, your frequencies. Okay, so I've got a frequency channel 1 here, which is my group, which is Atlas Red 1. That's selected. And you can see in the left-hand side, if I hold down the button that is to activate it, I am now speaking through the group comms frequency. If I click on G, this is the platoon frequency. This is the generic, this is the frequency that everyone can hear. This is the what a lot of people in choppers or supply vehicles or whatever tend to use. And I'd only use this for an emergency. I would use this very little because the enemy can they can acquire one of our radios and they can listen in. I see this used a lot. People use this as the default one, and that's not what you should do. So just be mindful of what frequency you want. You can change frequency by scrolling, and it tells you when you scroll what frequency you've tuned into to what group. You've got proximity chat, which is double clicking, and you've got the lock icon of the megaphone. That gives me the proximity chat in this area. Or I can turn it off, and then I am now muted. No one can hear me. So to conclude, we have gone through the loadouts and how to save them. We've gone through how to equip the resources on the weapons, like our scopes and suppressors. We've gone through the vehicles, the vehicle types, the vehicle locations, and we have gone through refueling our transport vehicles and basic navigation. I hope this has helped. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.